wait, say this. I was trying to find a way to start this podcast, so I just decided, you know what? Let me just stitch something together.
Oh, can I just
Good.
like not even repeat that? Can I just like steal you saying that?
Yes, yes.
I'll just
But
like
trademark
somehow make it
me.
my voice.
That came from
Yeah.
this creative brain.
10 out of 10, honestly. Yeah, so I guess like we're talking about Lilo and Stitch today.
Mhm.
Now, so Lilo and Stitch, the live action remake that recently came out. Disney's been doing all these live action remakes, crazy. Lilo and
Mhm.
Stitch is the latest victim of this consistent occurrence. And today we're going to discuss it. We're going to discuss the live action adaptation. We're going to discuss the original film, differences, similarities. I don't know. If you're here, hopefully you've like listened to one of these podcasts before. If you haven't, that's what we're about to do. So,
Mhm.
hi, welcome. Today I am joined by one of our favorite recurring guests, Aaron Butwinick. Aaron, who are you? Why are you here? How's life? What is it?
Hi, everyone. I'm back. I'm so excited to be back. I am a DP based in Los Angeles, and I am not one to love a Disney remake, but this one was actually quite good. So I'm excited to dive into why that was different for me.
Hell yeah. And it was crazy. Okay, because so you and I saw this film at a drive-in, which like
Yes. Unique experience. Yes.
and like we didn't have the weight of the internet's response to this film yet.
Mm,
Like it had like kind of just come out. So
yeah.
we saw it and we had like a pinch of a discussion with each other and with the other people that we saw it with. And then it's so funny because then I was like, of course, looking up stuff online and it was coming up on my feed. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden, everyone online like really fucking hates this film. And I was like, oh no, wait. So we do have to discuss some controversy
Mhm.
because, strictly speaking, there were quite a lot of differences between this film and the original animated Lilo and Stitch.
Mhm. Yep.
So, without further ado, let's get into it. And we always start with a favorite quote. And I did not remind you to bring a favorite quote. So, Aaron, can you just pull out of your ass a quote from Lilo and Stitch and
Let
pretend it's your
me
favorite?
I'm gonna say,
I know, I should have reminded you,
I'm
but
gonna
that's on me.
I'll have to put a little bookmark into that one. Um,
You can also, how about this? I'll open it up since that's on me. I'll open it up. You can say a favorite quote or a favorite character or a favorite moment.
I'm gonna say favorite new moment that didn't happen in the original that happened in the new one
Hmm.
was Stitch when he first kind of crash lands onto Earth. He kind of disrupts this wedding in the beginning of the film, and there's like a cake involved. They're playing Uptown Funk. It's very like 2015. I don't know. I just thought that worked for me. I thought
Yeah.
it was funny. I thought it was clever because I felt like there were at least half or more than half of the scenes in this film were kind of almost shot by shot, dialogue by dialogue, exact replicas from the animated version, which personally doesn't really work for me. I'd much rather see a little bit of difference, which I think might be counter to what people think when it comes to the live action remakes. So I always love it when they do something a little bit different. They add a scene, they add something different. So
He's quirky. He likes a different
right,
adaptation.
I like things a little bit different. So I was game for that little wedding scene. I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny, and who doesn't love cake? So
Honestly valid. I respect it. Yeah, well done. Good improvisational bit there that again I didn't
I
remind
used to
you
do
to
theater,
bring,
so that's
but
why.
it works. It works. Okay, hell yeah. I I didn't even write down my favorite quote. Look how like consistently prepared I am for my own podcast. This
It's
is a
okay.
reoccurring thing. I do have a favorite moment of the original Lilo and Stitch, and
Mhm.
this was like exactly the exact fucking same in the live action remake. So I'm just going to say that that is like my favorite moment. Arguably, it's between a quote and a monologue, and it's when Stitch has been newly arrested. It's at
Mhm.
the very end, and it is just like the scene that makes us cry the most. And he goes, "This is my family. It's little and broken, but still
Oh.
good." And
Mm.
I'm just like, oh, it gets me every time because it's like obviously this film is iconic and is like arguably one of the most iconic found family trope stories of our generation. And it
Mhm.
just like, that's the quote that says it all right then and there. And just the way that he says it
I
is
know.
so fucking
He's so cute.
cute. And he said it the same way in this one, which, like, same voice actor.
Good
We
actor,
didn't
yeah,
talk about that yet, but same
yeah.
voice actor.
Uh-huh. I know.
Yeah.
I thought Stitch was either played by, like, a kid or some sort of, like, a mix between a bunch of voices that they kind of meld into one, and then,
Mhm.
Cassandra, who was my, movie watching buddy in my car with me, she had mentioned, she's like, "Oh, like, blank person's name is playing Stitch," and I was like, "Oh, how do you know that?" I looked the guy up, and he's just, like, a full-on actor dude, like a grown man kind of thing, and I was like, "That guy voices Stitch?" And she's like, "Yeah," and it turns out he voiced Stitch in the original movie from what, like 15, 20 years ago or something?
2000, oh god, I should have looked this up. 2? 1?
2002. Oh,
Damn. Right, because for those of you who don't know, wait, Aaron, do you know this? Do you know the 9/11 of it all?
yes, mhm, how they, like,
Okay.
re-edited it, like, the building and
Yeah,
stuff.
because it was so close to 9/11, they were like, "Oh
Uh-huh,
fuck, we can't do that."
yeah. They're, like, a little sensitive. Yeah,
But now we can't. Now they could have.
yeah,
Yeah, they wouldn't have because also it's still Disney, but
right?
they could have if they really wanted to.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, same voice actor, which I think was the best choice because it's like, I don't know, especially when it comes to like voice acting, we've been kind of not in the best possible spot with that lately. And I want to mention specifically the Mario film that came out. You know, when everyone was like, why do you not use either the original voice actors or voice actors doing like the Mario voice that we know and love instead of having like Chris Pratt? But we did Chris
yeah,
Pratt. And there was like a lot of rightful uproar over that. So I'm
yeah,
glad that when it comes to, you know, different studio heads and all that, of course, but when it comes to this film, I'm glad that they were like, okay, we got to stick with the original. We can't just,
yeah,
because that's the whole thing when you're doing a live action remake. I mean, there's no, you shouldn't do it in the first place, but there's no perfect formula for like what you have to keep the same versus what you have to change.
mhm,
However, there are certain things that people are so deeply, deeply attached to that it's like, if you're going to change it, you better have a good fucking reason,
right.
kind of thing.
And I think especially with an animated character that in Disney's sake is very like, especially a popular one like Stitch, and I think I did read somewhere that Stitch is one of the most profitable Disney characters in Disney history, where there's
Oh, really?
rides based off of Stitch, there's toys, there's spin-offs and everything. Like, he's a very like, I feel like he's more popular than the movie, and I feel like because of that, you gotta kinda stay
Yeah.
true to the original in a way, and I will say, I think their kind of live action animated version of Stitch was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be, and I don't remember if we talked about
Yeah.
this in the movie or if I was talking about with Cassandra, but we were saying that we're glad that they did Stitch very well because they could have gone like a Sonic the Hedgehog way and made it kind of creepy and
Yeah.
audiences. I mean, it's a kids movie, so you guess you have to kind of toy a fine line. But I was impressed by the animated version of Stitch. He was cute. He was adorable. He had the same kind of personality and like facial
Yeah.
expressions.
Mannerisms
Yeah,
and yeah. Agreed.
yeah,
Definitely agreed. Funny enough, this like leaks a little bit into How to Train Your Dragon. I haven't seen it yet, and we can't like fully talk about it because I'm
yeah.
doing a whole episode about it.
Uh-huh.
But
That just
that
came
will
out.
be a very interesting. Yeah, it just came out like literally Thursday,
Oh,
right?
like last week.
Or like maybe earlier. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I said, I've been sick, so my brain has not been fully here. If you can't hear it by my super raspy, just woke up voice.
Sound cool.
Welcome to the movie theater butter podcast. It was that awful. That was awful. Lilo
Yeah.
and Stitch. We won't even talk about How to Train Your Dragon, but there is the similarity in the fact that sort of the titular character is incredibly similar to the original. Different
Mm,
story, different kind of reasoning there. And again, we won't get into it. But yeah, I think Stitch being the same, he was cute. And that's like one of the most important things about Lilo and Stitch is that he's cute. He's adorable. And like, yeah, he does bad stuff, but You
Yeah.
love him because not only does he have, this beautiful little like redemption arc kind of thing, but he also is freaking adorable. He's like a dog, like a cat, like a bunny, like a koala, all these things.
I mean, he's just this lovable little monster that we all want.
Lovable little
And he speaks
guy.
English too, which is also so funny. I didn't make that, like, connection. Like, I know that's dumb saying, but as I was watching this film, I was like, "He's a talking dog," and I understand it's an animated movie, whatever, whatever, but it's like, first of all, Stitch is an alien, and he's kinda looks like a dog, but then the dog talks. I don't know. I
Yeah, but I think it's because it gets weird because there's also an alien language. I mean, he has
Yeah,
that famous quote, and I won't repeat it here because it's just vile. I don't
yeah,
want to repeat this on the internet. But he says something in his alien language that is just so deeply gross and offensive. But
ugh,
this establishes that there's an alien language that he speaks, that's his native language. And then he also speaks English. Like everybody else also speaks English, which
yeah,
again, you're so right. It's like it had to happen. But
yeah,
it's funny because there is already like an established alien language kind of thing. Like, why
yeah,
not just have them speak English the whole time? I don't know. It's not a bad thing. It's just
no,
like a kind of interesting, kind of fun to
mm,
follow.
yeah, it worked for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I do need to ask you, what did you think about the not having Captain Gantu?
Captain Gantu?
Okay, right. Oh, that's enough of a response, right? Because in the original film, there's Captain Gantu. He's like the lead villain. He's like this giant, like towering alien monster. He is sort of a not quite a right hand. He's like top ranking in the aliens of it all, and he gets sent down
Oh, yes, that
later. Yeah,
yes, 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 yes.
yeah,
What's interesting about you bringing that up is Cassandra and I's kind of first note once the movie ended was Zach Galifianakis's character, who I'm blanking on the name of the alien.
Jumba, yeah, Jumba.
Yeah, the kind of the bigger dude.
Hmm.
He we thought that his character was a lot meaner and villainous. Like, he was kind of the villain of the story, and
Yeah.
that kind of threw us off a little bit because I feel like in the animated version, he was a lot more lovable, kinda like a big teddy bear kind of
Hmm.
vibe, and we would kinda look at each other during the film, and we'd be like, "He's really mean. He's saying really mean stuff. He's, like, capturing Lilo," like, all this I don't know, it was to me, it felt a little bit out of pocket and out of there, but I guess you said Captain Ganthu?
Gantu, yeah,
Ganthu.
Gantu, because he was sort of the original main
Yeah.
villain, main antagonist, and
I mean, I
yet
guess if he's
they
gone, then
didn't have him in this. Although it would have been like he would have looked so weird. It would have been really hard to do in kind of the style that they used for the computer generated or
yeah,
computer generated images, CGI. That's I should
yeah,
know what that stands for.
yeah, yeah. Maybe that's why they took him out.
Probably. I mean, I feel like that's gonna be because here's my thing, right? Okay, Jumba. As we're talking about him, he had a very weird. If I'm gonna be nitpicky about it, I didn't like most how he was in this film,
Mm,
and also even just like his character styling, because like yeah, it does look like what he was originally drawn to look like, but at the same time, it looks like a gross, like human fleshy version of Jumba.
yeah,
Like something about the set of his eyes, I was like, this is a little too human in a way that's gross
yeah,
to me.
mhm,
When it could have been more like colorful, different texture. I don't know. And he didn't have his accent. He didn't have the Eastern European slash
yeah,
vaguely Russian
yeah,
accent that he comes in with.
like the, "Oh, Stitch, blah, blah, blah," yeah,
Yeah. Dos Svedanya,
yeah,
Stitch.
that was a terrible take or terrible, try at that, but you know what, we gotta do it.
It's okay. We'll do a
Yeah.
little outro in Russian when we get there, so you'll have a second chance. But yeah, the Gantu Jumbo trade off was interesting.
Yeah, I think what threw me off a little bit too was, and I think this is something that seems to always happen with the live action remakes, is there's a beauty in animation, even with like creepy characters, like they still look kind of less scary or less intimidating because they're animated. But I feel like when you make them into more like human life looking form, it just gets really creepy or just kind of gross. It's like I don't want to see all the detail and everything, and it almost kind of takes you out of it in a way. So that's why. the Pleakley and Jumba, like them as humans, really worked for me because I didn't want to see them as aliens on like the main planet in the main world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
like them as humans. I feel like they were able to do a lot more like comedic kind of Three Stooges type comedy, like a lot of like
Yeah.
physical comedy. So that worked for me, and I thought Billy Magnuson did great as Pleakley.
Agreed. I completely agree with you there. And I do think like one of sort of the major controversies around this film before it came out and also after it came out was the fact that we're used to Pleakley being in drag. Pleakley being
Yes,
in drag. Well, I don't even know if it counts as drag because we don't even understand what alien gender is all about. But
our first
nonetheless,
openly queer Disney
yeah.
character.
Okay, this film is like this whole film is this is the okay. We're gonna get here. We're gonna get here. This is the queerest Disney film, in
Okay,
my
yeah,
professional opinion. The Lilo
uh-huh.
and Stitch film. In so many, I mean, like again, it's found family. What is not the most queer, if not
That's
found
true.
family? Yeah. So I don't know, and also the drag, and also just like everything. But yeah, there's so much controversy online about Pleakley not being in drag, and I
Yeah,
understand that. I think that's like a little bit valid, but I also think like I don't think that this is the queer erasure that we need to worry about. I think like this is like the tiniest
yeah.
fucking thing. I think there are
Also, he's an
bigger fish to
alien,
fry.
like, it's a little bit different, yeah. I think
Yeah.
I was mainly sad as a queer person, I was like, "Damn, I wanted to see how they do that," because it was such a fun little addition that they had. Like, he wears, like, lipstick, and he's got, like, his little hat, and he looks gorgeous on Earth. He looks
Yeah.
like he's passing. He looks like he's passing as a human. Um,
Mhm.
so it worked for me, but I think as someone who was on Stan Twitter, as we call it, that was a big topic of discussion. Everyone was like, why is Pleakley not the queer icon that we remember him as from the original? But rest
Yeah.
assured, he's still great. Is he a little bit fruity in the film? Maybe we never know, but it still worked for me.
I agree. I agree. And you know, there's always a little bit more of a redemption arc again for that kind of thing because I think they officially greenlit a sequel. I think we're getting
To this
Lilo
movie,
and Stitch live action too. Yeah, I heard that through the grapevine. I don't know
what?
how valid it is. Take it with a grain of salt.
I mean, it did really well at the box office, so I'm not surprised. But damn, that quick?
Yeah. It's weird too because like my understanding is that like the main two reasons that Disney does all of these live action remakes is A, to keep the IP relevant and under
Yes.
their business model and not have it, you know, become public domain, as well as keep the park attractions relevant because the further and further away we get from like, you know, what's one instance, there's too many instances, the further and further we get away from like Aladdin being like a classic, the further and
Mhm.
further we get from kids like really knowing and having attachment to that story, and so it becomes like less and less relevant and
Yeah.
important for sort of their target demographic, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it does. I mean, that's why they made, like, the Jungle Cruise movie pretty recently, and they remade a Haunted Mansion movie. Not that
Yeah.
those rides don't do well at the parks, but they definitely kind of it'll heighten its popularity and stuff, like, when people go, they're, "Oh, I saw the movie, I can go on the ride," and yeah, because Stitch has a ride, doesn't he? It's like the Stitch Great
There's
Escape?
something in Disney World.
Yeah.
Is there
Or
something
it's
in
not like a
Disneyland? Yeah, yeah,
dark
yeah.
he's like in like on like a spacesuit. It's like orange or something.
Darn, Aaron, I
Um,
just don't remember. I guess we're gonna have to do a Disney
we're gonna have to
trip.
go to
Oh
Disney World.
no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Get everybody together. Go to Disney. Oh man.
Hold on, I have a quick note on Disneyland. Uh, I saw a TikTok today with this guy. He's like, the most difficult thing in the world is when you're struggling financially and a friend of yours asks you, "Do you want to go to Disneyland?" and you shouldn't do it, but you say yes and you go and you have an amazing time. And everyone in the comment section's like it's okay. Like we've all been there, and yeah, I'm literally going to Disney this Sunday. So
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
yes, I'm very excited.
Hell
Yes,
yeah. Oh, say hi to Space Mountain for me.
I
That's my
will. I was about
favorite.
to buy the ticket because I'm going on like the on a peak. day. It's a Sunday in the
Yeah.
middle of June, and the people I'm going with want to do park hopper, so we're really just
Ooh, yeah.
spending the Disney dime under the Disney bubble. But you know what? After doing this podcast, I'm thinking now too. I'm curious how much Stitch memorabilia and Stitch merch will be around the parks. Like if they kind of cater the film's release to the merch available at the parks, that people can see the movie and then say like, oh,
Yeah.
here's more that I can buy after.
You'll have to let me know. It'd be interesting because again, that would kind of like feed back into, how important it is for the attractions to stay relevant kind of thing.
Right.
Like it would sort of validate what I think in a way if there is a lot of merchandise there for it or if it's sort of like a normal level.
Yeah.
But that'd be kind of fun to see. Hell yeah.
Yes.
We'll have fun at Disney. I hope that's a good time.
Yeah,
10 out
I'm
of
so
10.
excited. Yes.
Okay, one thing I do want to pop into here while we're talking about just like kind of, differences and similarities. Kind of one of the biggest ones for this is there are so many characters that had to be animated nonetheless, just in like a different sort of style. I mentioned this when we talked, and I need to bring this to the podcast.
Okay.
Or I don't know if I said it when we specifically talked, or if I said it like a few days after. But like, why not puppets? Like, we could have had like Jim Henson esque style puppets for
Mm,
all of these characters, even Stitch. And I feel like that would have played really well versus like, we there are these struggles that we've kind of been talking about with the CGI. Like Jumbo looked a little funky. We couldn't
mm.
do Gantu, all of this stuff. Whereas like if we did puppets, we could have had it all.
Like just like someone like with like the string puppets or like an Elmo type puppet.
Elmo type puppet for Stitch, for sure. Elmo type puppet. Slash Baby Yoda type puppet, right?
Yeah,
Because they're pretty similar, so
yeah.
definitely would have gotten there. For Gantu, could have been easily like a person in a big suit, and he probably wouldn't have been technically as big as like regular Gantu, but we
Right.
could have got there. There's so many like when I think back to Labyrinth, there's this like huge character. I forget his freaking name, but he's like this gentle giant type character, and he's a giant character, and it's a guy in a suit, and it's a puppet.
Yeah.
So we could have had it all. We could have had the puppets.
I see the vision. It would definitely cost less,
It would cost less, it would
right?
look better, and then also I think even just in like a business sense while I'm like pitching this to you, I
Yeah.
think also the benefit would have been it would have just been easier to like visually translate that to and from the merchandising in a way kind of thing because
Like
if
you
I'm
can
a kid, yeah, if I'm a kid and I see like a puppet Stitch, it's going to be so much easier to get a stuffed animal Stitch that looks really fucking similar to that versus just like the different look between, sort of CGI and
yeah.
actual real life. But I don't know. I'm just a big fan of puppets. We need more
Mhm.
puppets.
Puppet Queen.
100%. So, what are your thoughts? Here we go, bringing it in. Cobra Bubbles. How did we do? How did we feel?
He didn't have a huge role in this film, right? Because wasn't the Child Protective Service people? It was a woman coming in, right? Or
It
am
was
I trying?
mostly her, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. When I was a kid, I thought Mr. Bubbles was hilarious, and I laughed every time that he was on screen. And he,
Good.
I don't know. I was kind of a fan of the way they did the Child Protective Service stuff. I know that it's been seeing a lot of controversy, but it worked for me. That it felt realistic, and I think it gave Nani's character a little bit more nuance and depth. I think. From the cultural standpoint, I'm not too certain on what it would have been like in that time period in Hawaii and stuff. So, but I thought it was interesting because didn't Lilo get kind of placed with their older neighbor, correct?
Yes. And this is kind of in the discussion. She's considered Ohana. I think it's pretty clearly established in a few of the scenes and in kind of her introduction that she's considered Ohana. She's part of the family in
Yeah.
that way,
Yes.
just because of how they've grown together and her involvement therein. So yeah, she's a neighbor, but she's also Ohana, and so I
Yeah.
think that's where we get this kind of funky some of this controversy comes about of being like, oh, well, Nani relinquished custody and now her neighbor has Lilo and like
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, it's like, it, I think they did a pretty good job of feeding it back into the lesson of the story, which is the connection of family and like who that is in your life and the importance therein. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, technically neighbor, but also Ohana, and so I think it's like, I don't know. I agree with you what you're saying about like
Yeah.
it worked for me too,
Yeah.
and I can't fully 100% speak to the culture there, but I think we're more or less the controversy online where that's coming from. I think is just like everyone's mad about other things in the world, and I think it was
Mm,
really easy to latch onto this and not actually like feel and read the media, if that
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, it felt like a very forced kind of, criticism of the film because people were arguing, "Oh, she would never leave Lilo or whatever," and it's like, I never felt like her decision was selfish at all. If anything, I thought it was a pretty selfless decision because sure, she's wanted to continue her education at university, but I think deep down she knew that Lilo needed kind of like an elder figure in her life to take care of her, and Nani wasn't able
Yeah.
to give her that. And I feel like it's really selfless to kind of realize that and send her off. And no, I mean, knowing that she's in good hands too. It's not like this woman was not a part of their life. She very much was. She was their neighbor, and
Mhm.
they knew her. They were close to her. So I thought it was a really sweet ending and a sweet twist that I haven't really seen in a Disney movie. Like I feel like in these Disney remakes, they'll change stuff in the middle, but a lot of times the endings, well, I guess that's a lie. They do change the endings a lot, but I think with this one, I was surprised at that kind of turn in the end of the film.
And that's again, it goes back to the whole concept of like there's no right or wrong answer in a live action remake because again, at the end of the day, you really shouldn't do it in the first place.
Yeah,
But
really.
there needs to be it needs to be different also because like if I'm going and this is why I'm so scared to see How to Train Your Dragon because it's a great movie and if it's the exact same movie, I'm still going to love it, but I'm also going to be like kind of pissed, you know? Cuz I think I would rather like what is the point if you're just making the exact same film again? It's like so annoyingly clearly a money grab that you're like sitting and you're watching it and you're like you just wasted all this time and this money on making the exact same film that already exists
Yep.
when we could have made something new. So, yeah, having some kind of like change in it I think is important, but you do need to do it in the way that is faithful and keeps the heart, which I agree with you. I think this did that. I think
Hmm.
also like we were missing, if I'm being totally honest, we were missing from the original film some sort of like dare I say justice for Nani. Like I love her and you're allowed to sort of make your own decisions in life and find what is important to you. But I do think it's beautiful messaging to be like, you can kind of have this best of both worlds
Hmm.
change kind of thing. Like that's why they had the portal gun too, is they were like, well, she's not like fully just giving Lilo up and like that's
Yeah.
it. And she only sees her X amount of times. They introduced the portal gun as this thing to be like, well, Nani has the portal gun. So she's also still really with Lilo whenever she needs to be. It's not like
Yeah.
there's this hurdle there.
Hmm.
And she gets to pursue her life, you know? She gets
Yeah.
to pursue her passions and have a life of her own because at the end of the day, she's just a kid too. We don't
Hmm.
think about this enough.
They're both
That's the whole
orphans.
fucking point. Is like, yeah, Nani's also a kid.
Yeah. And also, I think if you're kind of thinking about it in the future, when she goes to school, she'll most likely get a nice job moving forward in life, and I feel like she should take these opportunities to eventually like assist with Lilo, take care of her too. You know what I mean? Like she can earn a living, like a solid salaried living, take care of this kid, and I don't know. After I watched the film, I didn't sense any like controversy. I just thought it was cool, and I thought that her doing that was a unique take that was fun. And back to what you were saying about live action remakes doing kind of carbon copy of the animated versions. I also agree. I don't think it works for me because I like the saying, what is it? Like don't break it if it's or don't fix it if it's not broke or something
Yeah,
broken.
if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Mhm.
And to me, Lilo and Stitch was not broke at all. It was very well received. It was a good movie. People love it. Definitely not one of Disney's most popular necessarily, but still an iconic Disney film. And there were a couple scenes in the movie that I had remembered from the original that were kind of carbon copy, like shot for shot, same dialogue. I was like, it's fine, it's funny, but then you watch it and you just think, but the original just does it so much better. Like, can we have a different type of sequence? Can we have another type of
Yeah.
whatever, whatever? And yeah, so whenever that happens in these remakes, I'm always like, oh, like, why do we have to do that? Can we just do our own stuff? But I think this movie did do a good job of kind of creating its own vision as to what Lilo is like and Stitch and her relationship to Nani and bringing in new characters, taking out some old ones. Like, I thought it was a pretty good breath of fresh air, even though there were some scenes that were literally the same.
Can I say also that's like a very on brand Aaron thing, like a very you're a very like sensible person, not in like a boring or negative way at all. You're
Yeah,
very sensible, and I think that also is like reflected in your work a lot, where it's like
you know,
you're very good about being like, hey, we have the tools and the lighting and the ability to make something really cool. We don't have to like go overboard necessarily. Like, I think
yeah,
you have a very good sensibility just in
thank
general
you.
about being like kind of like you said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You can like work with things in a way where you're like, hey, we've got it here. We don't need to
Yeah,
like, go crazy kind of thing.
yeah. Thank you.
But
I agree. I agree. I think Disney has described this as their first live action remake, but in 2014, 15, the Maleficent movie with Angelina Jolie, to me, that's a perfect example of a quote unquote remake where it's a new story we've never heard of
mhm,
before. And by new story, I mean Maleficent's backstory. That didn't exist in Sleeping Beauty. Just didn't exist before the movie came out. And that movie worked really. I love that movie. Same with Cruella, another kind of backstory type film. Uh,
yeah,
what hasn't worked for me are the kind of carbon copy live actions like Aladdin or what else is in that category?
they
Um,
did Cinderella like 8,000 times, but they did a very specific live
oh yeah.
action remake of
Okay, you know
Cinderella.
what? There is an exception. I think the 2015 Cinderella is a fantastic movie.
Wait, which one is that? Is that with
With Lily James. I think that was
they
the
did,
first Disney
yeah.
princess
Oh, they
one.
did good.
Yeah, they did very good
Yeah.
with that. But it's like, do we need a live action Lion King? Like that movie's already animated. We can animate it again, but just with
Yeah.
more like CG, like realistic CGI. And then I don't know. It's hard to defend Disney. I think everybody can agree with that. But I don't know. And it's funny. This movie, I'll be completely honest. I was not excited to see this movie. I was not planning on seeing it. And I think the main reason why I decided to go was because of the experience. I was going to be with my friends. We were doing a drive-in movie experience, which I highly recommend doing. It's actually very fun. I hadn't done one in
Yeah.
years, and I
We
feel
had a
like
good time.
right, and I feel like in California, people just do it right. It's we're car culture, like we
Yeah.
do it.
We
We
have
do it
beautiful
good.
weather. We don't have to worry
Yeah,
about
it was
that.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd never been down in Paramount before, and it was an adorable little city. It was really really nice. And I don't know, but so I think one of the other reasons why I liked the movie a lot was because my expectations were non-existent. I didn't have any because I wasn't even planning on seeing the film. And then when I saw it, I was like, you know what? That was actually really fun. It was actually really good.
Yeah. And that's the best way to go into I feel like any kind of film, but especially this sort of thing where it's like there's never going to be a perfect live action remake because again, at the end of the day, we're always going to be happier with the original.
Yeah,
But it's good to go into any film really with that sense of like I don't know, like I don't have a super formulated opinion on it one way or the other. I'm just excited to be here. Let's just watch a movie and see what happens, kind of
yeah,
thing.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, one thing I do want to talk about that's not necessarily relevant to the live action remake, but I rewatched the original recently, partially to prepare for this, partially because I was
Mhm.
like in the mood with
Yeah.
it. Um, and I noticed something that like so immediately bothered me, and I
Okay.
Googled it frantically, and it's like this whole thing that everybody else has noticed before. Here's what's up. Okay,
Okay.
so I watched this on Disney Plus, right? I need to cancel my Disney Plus anyways for reasons, but like I watched it on Disney Plus. sue me. And there's that moment where like Lilo and Nani are like fighting and chasing each other around the house and that kind of thing. And Lilo goes into the dryer to hide, and
Oh,
like Nani
yeah.
like backs up. Do you know about this? This whole thing?
I saw something on Twitter about it, so but I'll let you finish explaining.
Yeah, okay. So I'm glad that it's like big. I'm glad that people are like mad about it. But basically there's this scene, she goes into a dryer to hide, and Nani finds her and like traps her and gets her out of there and is like ha 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 whatever. And it's not a big deal, but it's like they changed it in the Disney Plus version, and it's like a pizza box. There's like,
Yes.
instead of it being a dryer, it's drawn so that it's like the top of a pizza box somehow fits perfectly at the front opening of like a little shelving thing next to the washer. And so
Yeah.
she hides in that and comes, which doesn't even work. It doesn't even work because the whole fucking clue. Okay, so Nani's like chasing her, right? And she
Yeah.
like stops when Lilo like goes out of sight, and she like falls against the wall, and she's like ah, and then she hears the sound of the dryer closing, so she knows it's that, so she does this
Yeah.
little like point gesture as it makes the sound, so she's like
Yeah.
or whatever, and that's her clue, and she goes and does the thing whatever. So then it doesn't even fit because now I'm watching Disney Plus and all of a sudden there's like no sound effect for it, or like a very light, I could barely
Interesting.
even hear it, cardboard sound effect. I'm like, so then you ruin the whole moment, and then why is she doing the point, and then I don't know,
Yeah.
and then so it's like, apparently they just don't want kids going to hide in
I was just
dryers,
about to
and like
say,
I get that.
I bet it's because they don't want kids to hide into washers and dryers, which I think is really funny because this seems like a newer thing that's come up. Because I guarantee there's an intern or someone like a watcher person at Disney that's watching all of these, excuse me, movies before they go on to Disney Plus. And I bet someone flagged it and they're like, maybe not. Even though, not to be totally off topic, but it's like Kinder eggs. In America, we don't have the ones that
Yeah,
have toys in them, but in the UK they do. Are they smarter than us? Probably. I don't know, but
in some
um,
ways sure, in other ways absolutely not,
no,
like,
no.
yeah, I completely agree though. That's a really good comparison because, yeah, technically it's something that is dangerous, but it's also like so unnecessary to like
Avoidable,
to try
I
and
would
protect
hope.
from that versus like everything else in the world kind of thing. I don't know. Okay, so last thing I wanted to pop in on the discussion of the pizza box oven
Yeah.
change of it all is I just want to reiterate that that's why you need to buy the DVD of a movie, is because you don't want this fucking revisionist history
Nope.
catching up with your favorite Disney movies, with your queer
Exactly.
icon films.
We
Like, no
yes.
pizza box. We want the oven.
I it's funny you mention that because I was recently home back in Minnesota, and my favorite space in my childhood home is not my bedroom, it's not the kitchen, but it is the basement. All of my Midwestern listeners know that
Yes.
oh, well, yeah, you're Midwestern, you're
Oh,
Michigan. You know that a
yeah.
Midwest
Mhm.
basement is kind of everything. That's our TV rooms, that's our like it's a big deal to have a basement in the Midwest because all of our homes have them. They don't have basements in the West Coast. It's a big culture thing in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And in our basement specifically, it's just basically like our TV room, big TV, nice couch, whatever. And in one of the drawers on the right side of of the basement is kind of like my movie drawer where I have hundreds and hundreds of DVDs that
Aw.
I don't watch as much anymore because I don't have a DVD player in LA and everything is at home. However, I did tell my mom, I said, when I buy a house or get a nice big bookshelf, I am not going to put
Yeah.
books on it and I'm going to put a bunch of all my DVDs. I'm going to color code them, genre code them, I don't know, whatever. But I just told
A
my
Dewey
mom,
Decimal System just for
right?
you.
Exactly. And I just said, Mom, do not throw away my DVDs because those are relics. And
Mhm.
I don't know, there's something about like putting it in to the DVD player that just feels so like
There's just something about putting it
tactile.
in. It
Yeah,
just
and
feels
watching
so
all
good.
the features and the scene selections. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, 100%. And then you get, little bonus features like you said, and it's so funny because in the middle of us doing this podcast, I was playing The Sims earlier, and so I had The Sims
Love it.
just like paused and
Yeah.
held on my screen, and then I forgot that I had Pirates of the Caribbean 3 at World's End, one of my all-time favorite movies, pops into my DVD player, and randomly in the middle of when we were talking, all of a sudden DVD player goes on and it goes to the main theme and it's like playing and I see the menu. And that's even just another thing that I miss is like we don't get menus for DVDs anymore. And there was
Mhm.
just something that feels like you're here now with like a DVD menu.
Yeah, is the music from that movie is the dun 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 dun,
Yep.
right? Yep. God,
Iconic.
those movies are
Inspired an
so
entire
good.
trilogy that I wrote. Yeah.
Okay, I know this is totally sidetracked, but I just have to ask the question. Is the
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean film franchise with Johnny Depp, is that based off of the ride at Disneyland?
Yes.
So they literally
Yes.
created an entire franchise based off of a ride.
Gore Verbinski had like a ton of free reign for this whole thing.
Wow.
And I'll have to double
That's
triple check who the
impressive.
writers are, but I'm pretty
Very
sure he was involved in.
yeah.
Yeah. But that's how you should do an adaptation. Okay. And this is one like we'll get to this series because I freaking love this series.
Okay.
And should I say trilogy? We'll get to this trilogy because there are
Oh,
three
Pirates?
Pirates of the Caribbean films
Yeah.
and no other films. But we will get there. Incredible adaptation because yeah, they had a ride with like interesting story elements to use,
Mhm.
but created like an absolute goddamn masterpiece of a trilogy out of that with all these
Yeah, like a
fabulous
billion-dollar
characters.
trilogy.
Yeah,
And I don't know, it always
yeah,
surprised me too because I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean is one of my favorite rides at Disneyland, but I would not argue it being like one of like the top 5 most popular rides in the park. Like I feel like the Space Mountains, the
yeah.
Matterhorn bobsleds, the Thunder Mountain Railroad, like I feel like those to me are bigger rides.
Tower.
Yeah, Tower of
Yeah,
Terror, rest in peace. But I feel like now it's just interesting how I mean maybe Pirates of the Caribbean was more popular when those movies first came out, but I just think it's cool how they probably just said, "Hey, we wanna really profit off of this ride, make something." And they said let him cook, and he cooked an entire feast with that series.
they said, "Can you make us an entree?" He said, "5 course meal."
He
Yeah,
said, "Say less, say
100%.
absolute less. I'll add dessert. We'll have creme brulee. We'll have like a post dinner espresso." Like he freaking cooks.
Ooh, a post dinners. Don't even. I'm
We're
like,
getting so off
sorry,
topic. I
crying at
think
the
it's so
thought.
funny.
So off topic, but like Lilo and Stitch, and the way that we can tie this in is water. That's the segue. Stay hydrated, folks.
Caribbean is,
They're all connected
on
if you think
water.
about it. As we're all
Hawaii's on land.
connected.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Ohana means water. Water means Lilo and
Ohana
Stitch.
means pirates.
Ohana means pirates.
Yes.
Ohana means doubloons. A little thing that I do want to mention, then we'll finally dive into like pop quiz. We'll wrap it all up. One kind of cool thing about this remake is that two of the actors were original voices in the film.
Yes.
Not
Yes, yes, yes,
including Stitch
yes.
being Stitch. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
okay, cool. So
I know where this is going. You mentioned 2, right?
yeah, which is the one that you know of.
Nani. All I know, and a friend of mine told me this the day after I saw the film, was that the voice of Nani, that actress, plays the kind of oh, what is she called? Like a child protective services woman in the film,
Yeah.
which I thought was so cool. Made a little
Mhm.
reprise, came back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was
It was a
adorable.
good way to like extend the story and like kind of keep it within the
Yeah.
original family, so to speak, which was nice. And
You
then
said there's
another one,
2?
yeah. So the other one that I know about is, and there might be technically more, but I mean, like these are the big, sort of most important. Um, the actress who played Nani's neighbor, who we discussed, is like kind of part of who she gives custody to. Um, was played by Amy Hill, and she originally voiced Mrs. Hasagawa in the original film,
Oh,
which
no
is one
way.
of the characters who, when Nani's like looking for a job, I don't, oh God, it's been like only a few days since I rewatched Lilo and Stitch, but it's like when she's looking for a job, I believe, is when Mrs.
Interesting.
Hasagawa is there. Yeah,
Wow.
so two.
And then
And then
Stitch.
Stitch. Yeah.
So they're like the little cast reunion.
Which I think is like so cute. It's good to be able to be a part of the continuing media in that way. Like, Completely unrelated, but when the Harry Potter series, I mean, we can't talk super much about that yet. Um,
Oh,
and I do believe that they're like everybody's kind of trying to stay away from that for several reasons. But just like an interesting in that world, the actor who played Draco Malfoy, Tom Felton. I don't know if you heard, but he's
yes, I know.
yeah.
I know. He needs to get
It's
over it.
it's
Get over it.
objectively, yeah, it's factually kind of cool that he's getting to play older Draco as older Tom Felton. However, also lest we forget the turfness of the creator of Harry Potter, and also just like, yeah, there is a little bit of an element of like, Tom, excellent actor, wish the best for you, but also maybe it is time to kind of like say goodbye,
Do
again
other
for
stuff. Everyone else
yeah.
has.
And he will. I think he will. I'm hopeful. I think he's
I'm
incredibly
not.
talented. I will be interested to see what happens next.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm not hopeful, but I mean, he's working.
that's fair. Yeah.
You know, I can't judge that. Like, take the job, take the gig.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I feel like we could have an entire podcast episode about the new Harry Potter series because I have a lot of thoughts as a very big Harry Potter fan. It's so sad because like I love that story and I can respect the brilliance of her writing and of that series because like it's Harry Potter obviously, but I'm like, why
Yeah.
does she just suck so bad? She sucks so bad. Like just
Yeah.
awful.
And keeps going deeper and deeper into sucking. Like doesn't like spend like 5 minutes to like listen to the people around her and
No.
maybe start to think like, oh hey, let me figure it out.
And it's not even like, oh, just one tweet. Like maybe she's learned. It's like, no, she's goes deeper and deeper, and it's like, girl, like, ah.
So let's start to wrap this up. Aaron, are you ready
I
for a
am.
movie theater butter pop quiz?
I'm very excited for a movie theater butter pop quiz.
Amazing. This one is potentially one of my favorite questions that I've ever asked on the Movie
Okay.
Theater Butter podcast. So, question for you. Approximately how many ER visits per year are due to washing machine related incidents?
That's a great question. My gut is saying, Aaron, say a number way bigger than you think. Uh, okay, ER visits related to washing machine, you said? So just washing machine, no dryer.
Yes, and I believe this is focusing on just the United States as well.
uh, 10,000? Is that too many? 5,000?
If I didn't have the answer written right in front of me that I already looked up, I would say that that's a pretty good guess. Pretty good
What is the
guess.
answer?
According to a scientific article published in 2003 with the title Washing Machine Related Injuries in Children, a Continuing Threat. Washing machine related injuries accounted for approximately 2,388 ER visits and 128 hospital admissions within, like, per year.
That's
The
still a lot.
large percentage of which were from children 15 years or younger. It's still a lot, yeah. But it's also like,
Not me
I don't
thinking
know,
10,000. That's insane.
10,000,
That'd be like a
which is not
national
that
emergency.
wrong,
Yeah.
I bet it was that much
Wow.
in 2020 for sure, because like everyone was home, so every child
Yeah.
was like, "Let me climb in the washing
I'm like, what's
machine."
this? What
Yeah,
happens
if
if
I
I
was a kid, I'd
press
be
it?
like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I was never a child. I was born an
Kim's always
adult.
looked like this.
I've kind of always looked like this, yeah. Just smaller at times.
Kim's always been a grown woman.
Always been a grown woman. I walked out of the womb and I said, "I need to do my taxes. Hold up." That's
I need to
so
look for work.
gross.
Hire me.
I need to look for work. Excuse me, I have my 9 to 5 tomorrow.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, Aaron, how do you think Lilo and Stitch is best watched? Lilo and Stitch referring
Probably
to
right.
the 2025 version.
You know what? I'm gonna say it's best watched at a drive-in movie theater with your friends.
That's so
A
crazy. Wait, when was
recess.
the last time you were at a drive-in movie
You know,
theater with
that's
your
years.
friends?
It's been years since I've been to
It's
one.
been so
And you know, I
long.
say that because Lilo and Stitch is a very fun movie. It's a very adventurous movie, and I feel like why not make the adventure part of your surroundings? Go to a drive-in movie theater, support local little theaters. It's very fun, and the snacks are yummy, and I don't
So
know.
reasonably priced. Yeah.
That too, and we all know how expensive everything is these days. So I'm gonna say location wherever it may be. I feel like some drive-in movie theaters might be even on the water, which could be kind of fun. Um, or some might be on like rooftops. So I guess any sort of an outdoor theater, I'll say that.
Yeah, I love that. It really is a good film for that because it's like you
Yeah,
don't have to 100% pay attention. You can kind of like loosen up a little bit. You
right?
can be immersed in a way that you're not like fully right there kind of thing. You don't need a
Yeah.
blackened out room necessarily.
And it also feels like a
Yeah.
movie that if it came out in like 10, 12 years ago, like when I was younger, like in middle school, high school, I feel like it would have been a film that I would go to a drive-in theater with my friends to see because it's like a family fun movie, and I feel like we would have
Mhm.
taken my neighbor's truck and just driven it there and then put the kinda like the latch down and just like sat in the
Yeah.
trunk with blankets, brought popcorn. Like to me that's a
Ugh.
good Lilo and Stitch viewing moment. And I'm from the Midwest, so you kind of you're by the lake and you're in the woods or something, and you're just getting bitten by mosquitoes every time. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a whole vibe going on.
Ugh. Hell yeah. You know,
Yeah.
then I might cut this out, but the next time we do a drive-in movie, I want to get like one of those like child-sized cars, you know, the ones that like rich kids had. I want to get
Yeah.
one of those and I want to like put it in my trunk. And then once everybody's parked and ready, I'm going to like drive out in my tiny little kitty car to
Ugh,
the concessions and park it. It'll be fun.
that's so funny. They're like, excuse me, coming through. Just looking
Yeah.
at
Like,
parallel
beep, beep.
park. Thanks, everyone."
Amazing. Okay. Final thing. Thank you so much, Aaron. Where can the people find you if they so choose? Do you have public social media? Do you like hate
I
everybody and
do.
you're not on social media because you're like actually cool and not addicted to your phone like the rest of us?
I'm unfortunately so addicted to my phone and so addicted to Instagram, and that is the best place to find me.
Yeah.
Aaron Butwinick DP, AARON BUTWINICK DP. That's me. Give me a follow. DM me. Say hi. I'm friendly and fun. And
Friendly,
let's see a
fun, 30
movie.
and flirty.
Tim knows that
You're
I got
not
my
30.
AMC. I'm not 30. No. I'm actually, I'm super young. No, I'm kidding. No, and Kim knows this. I am a avid AMC lister. So, if any of you listening to this want to see a movie, you're in LA. Let's go to the Burbank AMC. We can go to the Americana. I just won't go
Mhm.
anywhere west of the Grove.
Do you count City Walk? City Walk technically, well, I mean, like that's kind of a different story because it's like
I'll
Valley.
do
What would you
City Walk is
consider
really
that?
close to me, so I'll go to City
Oh hell
Walk.
yeah.
But I don't want to pay for parking.
Yeah. But did you know if you have a ticket to the AMC in City Walk, it's only $5 for parking. You show
I know, but
them
you
your
still have to
ticket.
pay for parking.
You do. You do. Yeah. We'll take public transit. LA Metro. Love
All
it.
right, yeah, I
We'll get
live right off
there.
the red
And then
line,
we'll
so
walk up the hill.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that hill, holy
Ugh.
crap. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
it's killer. They got to fix that before 28.
Yeah, because there's a little shuttle, but it's only open during park hours. If you're seeing an 8 p.m. movie,
Hmm.
shit out of luck.
We'll figure it out. We'll get rich enough that we have drivers, and I think that'll
Right,
solve
right.
everything.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
Helicopter will
amazing.
fly in.
Yeah, we'll fly in, we'll drive out. You know,
Yeah,
whatever we feel on the day.
yeah.
Hell yeah! Thank you, Aaron. Always love doing a
Always.
conversation with you. Appreciate you, and
Thanks
we'll
for
see
having me
you on the
on.
next one.
Bye.
Well, it sounds like that's a wrap. Thank you for listening to Movie Theater Butter, a Tilkin Productions podcast. Make sure to follow us where you're listening and on our Instagram page at the Movie Theater Butter Podcast. And hey, it couldn't hurt if you gave us a quick 5-star rating on this platform. All right, I'm done. See you next episode.